Hello, I've got some astro weather to share with you for the week ahead. This is the week of Monday, November 7th through Sunday, November 13th. So we'll go through the elements first. The moon will be in Taurus. It will be in an earth sign Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is when our emotional body it expresses a little bit more through the earthy energy. So that earth can be it can be the medicine. It can be what we need in order to help ourselves to feel better from an emotional standpoint. It can also just be like kind of how we're inclined to emote. So with the moon in Taurus in an earth sign, we are a little bit more connected. Our emotions are a little bit more connected to our material items, to our service, what we're providing, what we're doing. And it can be a little bit stubborn. It can be a little bit insecure. We can have a higher tendency towards feelings of insecurity or feeling like we're not providing enough, not doing enough. It's a really good time to connect with nature, to slow down, to engage with the senses, to use your senses to remind yourself like what is going on, where you are in space and time, instead of being in imaginary land, thinking forward, thinking backward, thinking sideways. We can use our senses in order to get present. Moon in Taurus is a really good time for manifesting, and the Monday before the full moon, what better time to manifest than that? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the moon will be in Gemini. So this is a little bit more intellectual. This is when we are more likely to think about our feelings than to feel our feelings. Maybe we want to talk about them or write about them or just not feel them at all. We just want to kind of like spiral around them in our thought process. Moon in Gemini has a tendency towards multitasking. This is when our emotional body is operating in that realm of thoughts, concepts, and theories. Come on, kitten. This is when mental or communicative activities propel you forward. This is when that kind of communication is going to help you to process your emotions. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have the moon in Cancer, which is a water sign. So we come into that's where the moon is at home. That is where she likes to be. So our emotional body can get a little bit more into the feelings. We are a little bit more sensitive. We're a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more just the emotions are a little bit closer to the surface. When the moon is in Cancer, we are more likely to retreat. We are, especially if we're feeling overstimulated or like the emotion is a tidal wave that we need to like take cover from. This is when, especially if the who you're dealing with has strong Cancer in their natal chart, they're more likely to retreat to fill the bucket. We all are during Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So again, that is just the elemental breakdown. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, our emotional body is practical, it is sturdy. We can use our senses in order to help us process our emotions. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have the moon in Gemini. That is our emotional body. It's a little more intellectual. It's a little bit more speedy. It's a little bit more communicative. It's a little bit wants to talk about it, wants to multitask. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, moon is in Cancer. So that is really good time to just feel your feelings and notice what your gut is telling you. That gut feeling, we can like learn to turn that off by shutting off our emotions, by choosing repeatedly to not listen to what our gut or our intuition is telling us. So engage with your intuition, engage with your gut, your inner knowing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it'll just be closer to the surface. Let's go back through and have a little bit more of a detail on each day. So Monday is the day before the full moon. The full moon has a lot going on with it. So let's just focus on Monday for a moment. When the moon is in Taurus is the best time to manifest. Taurus is all relating to our material goods, our material items, our possessions, our belongings, what we have. So if there are things that you're trying to bring to yourself, things that like dreams that you're trying to turn into reality, Moon in Taurus is the most ideal time to do that. And that's so perfect that we have the full moon also in Taurus. Moon in Taurus likes to provide the foundation. It likes to make environments feel secure. Balance between thought and action, rest and play, bring visions or dreams to reality. We can get a little bit overindulgent. We can get a little bit stubborn, a little bit insecure, feelings of not being or doing enough around this time. So just recognize what you're making up about the situation and what is actually reality, what's actually going on. Some medicine for Moon in Taurus, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is to ground, to get low to the ground, to connect to the ground in the closest way that you can. So take your shoes off and put your feet in the ground. Maybe if it's warm enough, I heard that you guys were having some nice weather in Indiana. Maybe you go lay your whole body on the ground. Just get outside, slow down, engage with your senses, look at the colors of the plants around you, the sky, like how it smells. Really get outside and use yourself to ground. And that is going to help with the full moon in Taurus on Tuesday. There's a lot of energy. We know that the full moon is the peak of the cycle. It's when it's the brightest, the biggest, the loudest. We all get a little bit more agitated around the full moon. Hospitals, emergency rooms tend to have weirder things coming in. And it's just because we're all connected. We're all living here. We're all influencing each other all the time. And those big bright lights in the sky, the planets, are not exempt from that. So what is special about the full moon in Taurus is that it is a lunar eclipse. This is big energy. It's like eclipse season is unpredictable. It is. I heard an astrologer compare it to when you go to a pedicure and they scrub the shit off the bottom of your feet. They're scrubbing it off. It's like really just wiping things. It's wiping off the dead. Especially here around Scorpio season, that is what Scorpio is for. It is to dive deep beneath what is on top and pull the truth up to the surface. And that is this full moon having the sun in Scorpio and moon in Taurus. There are lots of really big themes around that. Removing the dead, like getting that dead skin off, scrub, pruning your plants, getting the dead leaves off. We know that with other organisms, that just helps with growth. So we can't expect ourselves to be removed from that because we are part of the natural world as well. We need to trim off the dead in ourselves so something else can grow, can take its place. The grounding will really, really, really help with some of this big energy that's coming up. We have in the astrology of the full moon, the moon is right next to Uranus. It's conjunct. It's the same degree in the sky. And Uranus is the rebel. Uranus is the planet that when it is making aspects, when it's making relationships with the other planets, we can pretty much always expect some type of unpredictable change, some type of like fast, unpredictable change. Uranus it rules electricity and it rules just think about how lightning moves. It strikes and it kind of goes in all these directions. That is the kind of vibe I get from Uranus. You don't really know where it's going to go. You don't know what it's going to affect. You don't know when that crack is going to happen. So that it can feel a little bit scary to be sitting here thinking, okay, well, everything could just change on a freaking dime. When in reality, that is a possibility every single day. I mean, we look at the people that really, really got hit hard with the hurricane, and that woke up as they woke up that day, they had all their things. By the end of the day, they had nothing. I mean, that is a rapid, unpredictable change. That is the kind of energy that Uranus has. That can be, I mean, it can be devastating, it can be destructive, but what comes from that is our choice. It's our responsibility. We can take it and see it for what it is, and it's that scraping off, it's the release, so we can grow something different. Maybe we don't know what that is. So we don't be afraid of astrology. We are not afraid of astrology in this house. We see it for what it is, and we hold curiosity around what it may bring. Now the moon is also squaring Saturn in the astrology of this full moon, which brings some feelings of like deep responsibility, maybe some themes around limitation or restriction. So as we go through this week, the beginning of the week in particular, I want you to recognize where your limitations are, if they are self-imposed, if it's self-perceived, like you're perceiving something to be a limitation when in reality it's not there. It's our responsibility to watch for those things. It's our responsibility to be curious about ourselves and what we're holding to be absolute truth, because sometimes we hold on to an idea for so long that we forget to make sure that it's still true and it's still relevant and still real. So I guess I don't really know what else to say about the full moon. We have that unpredictable energy. We have the who knows what's going to happen. It can be up and down. It can be hot and cold. It can be a little erratic, a little eccentric, a little unpredictable. So just, I guess, get your popcorn ready and be ready to see what happens, what shifts, what kind of clears out, what's going to fill the space. And remember that you have a little bit of say over that. You can choose and you can say, okay, I have this extra room now. I'm going to be really choosy with what I allow to fill that space. Then Uranus for the full moon is also opposite the Sun and Mercury. So that just brings some of that kind of unpredictableness to our outer expression, to our ego, to our personality, to our thought process. We may be going through a shift or maybe some rebellious thoughts. Maybe we want to do things in a different way and we don't really know how to get everyone else on board with that. It's not your responsibility to make sure that other people are on board with what you're doing. So just as we have this energy, as we have this big this lunar eclipse on Tuesday, I just want you to be aware of those themes of Uranus and its unpredictable nature, it's kind of erratic up and down, how it's affecting our emotional body, how it's affecting our ego and our thought process. And that is the peak. That's the peak of the week on Tuesday. After Tuesday, the moon shifts into Gemini. This is we're going to be thinking a little bit more. We'll probably spend this is probably a good order for it to happen because we have all of that happen. We have the peak, the culmination on Tuesday of the full moon, of the lunar eclipse, of moon conjunct Uranus, moon square Saturn, and then our emotional body gets intellectual. It switches into that realm of thoughts, concepts, and theory. So we can kind of contemplate from an intellectual standpoint everything that happened, what we are shifting away from, what changed. Maybe nothing like that major happened, and so just consider how things are, like what stayed the same. Do you find value in that? Do you like that? Does it serve you well? Or can you drop something? Can you let something go in order for something new to find you? Um, Wednesday, Mercury is squaring Saturn, so we can have some restrictive thinking, we can have some self-limiting going on in our thought processes. If you notice that happening, just stand back and watch. Notice, where is this coming from? Why does this happen? Have I had these thoughts for my whole life? Is this something that I learned from somebody else? Thursday, Venus trine Neptune. This brings a dreaminess into our love lives, our finances, our relationships, our values. I don't remember if I said that. So that can it can be, everything has a perk and a pitfall, so it can be really sensitive. You can have a really sweet, affectionate, loving connection with your values, with your partner, with your finances. Or there can be some like deception. There can be some smoke and mirrors, some confusion. So just notice on Thursday how it feels to be in your partnerships, how it feels, your values feel, how your finances feel. And then Friday, the moon will move from Gemini into Cancer. This is more sensitivity, it's more feeling, it's more intuition, it's more of that wateriness that can be nonverbal. It's just feeling. Friday, the sun is squaring Saturn, so there can be a little bit of feelings of restriction or limitation around our personality, around our ego, our outer expression. And just remember, like, it's not bad to feel that way. I think it's really important to stop and recognize if you feel limited, if you feel restricted, if you feel this like, I want to do that, but I don't think I can. Like, we don't need to be the ones that are self-limiting us. The universe is going to help us out. We don't need to be the only one that is like reining it in. Saturday, the moon is in Cancer. It's a waning moon. So after the peak on Tuesday, energy levels slowly start to decrease. So for the rest of the week, it's getting less bright, less bright, less bright. Our focus should move from out to what everything is illuminated to in, and start to connect with yourself. What's going on in your own inner world. That is just a little bit, it feels different when the moon's in a water sign. We can feel, we are connected to intuition, we are connected to our feelings and to kind of those waves of emotion that come in and go out. Saturday, Mercury trine Neptune. So that is our mind thought process in relationship with like dreamy, floaty, mystical Neptune. Again, that the perks and pitfalls, it can just look like increased sensitivity. We get more sensitive to the vibrations that are around us. So if you go out to eat and order a meal, the chef is in a bad mood and they're just cursing as they're making your food. And then the chef's bad mood, they're being shitty towards the line cook. The chef or the line cook is all stressed out as they're making your food. So all these people in the back are preparing your food in a shitty mood, maybe throwing some ill will around, and then you get the food and you eat it. You don't know what was going on in the kitchen. How would you have any idea? You just feel a little bit different than you would if Mercury wasn't trining Neptune. You're a little bit more sensitive. Maybe the meal doesn't make you feel as energized as it would another time. Maybe it makes you feel a little bit sad. Maybe you get a little bit of that residual vibration from the kitchen workers. It's just kind of a silly example. But when our mind is trine Neptune, we do get a little bit more sensitive. It's just the nature of the beast. We get a little bit more tuned into vibrations. We can also be more easily confused. We can be more easily manipulated. So just be mindful. Notice yourself, your thoughts, all week long. I think that's a good practice to be in. Sunday, we have the waning moon in Cancer. This is the time to retreat, to refill your bucket. It's a balance between caring for yourself, caring for others, tending to your home and your family, kind of finding all good balance in that realm of your life. We have Venus sextile Pluto on Sunday. So this is where we maybe find transformation within our relationships. We find, and with sextiles, it's usually more positive. It's usually easy breezier versus like having the rug pulled out from under you. I'm not trying to make that sound scary or intimidating. It can be a really nice time where maybe you have tensions or things that you haven't worked out all the way from the past, and this would be a time where you can bring them up and discuss them, transform them, transmute them, release them, and then really go forward, kind of leaving them behind. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to go on for too much longer. Just a reminder, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the moon is in Taurus. This is Earth. Do your practical things. Get your body outside in nature. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Get low to the ground. Connect with the earth in order to help with the peak of the energy on Tuesday for that full moon. Gemini, the moon will be in Gemini Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Do your sharing, do your communicating, write your thoughts down, write your feelings down, share them with people, gather information, share information with people. These kind of mental and communicative activities will help to move you forward. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have the moon in Cancer. Make sure that there is balance between you taking care of yourself and you taking care of others. Good luck with the full moon on Tuesday. Don't forget to ground yourself down. And if you have any questions about any of this astrology, let me know.